Yeah, thanks for having me, fellas.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate you reaching out.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Oh man, thank you for having me, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you. I'm doing good. How are you?
It's my pleasure, man. This will be fun. I'm happy to talk to you guys. Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to be on the show. Be a fan of Moneyball now.
What's up, everybody? I have with me today a special guest. I have Mr. Grant Callaway, and Grant is the founder, owner of First Down Training, which is out in Long Beach, California. So coast to coast here. Hello from Buffalo, and how you doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Kind of unique circumstances brought us together, and I'm really glad that they did. I always find that the unique set of circumstances that bring people together usually leads to good relationships, as to the people that you just meet cordially or whatever. It's kind of unique, and I can tell the viewers, my little cousin, who's just a crazy big Bills fan and football fan, shout out to Derek Blaze. He'll love that. I actually tried to get him to cut in on the show. He said he was so dedicated to his academics in his school. He said he couldn't do it, which respect, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's probably a good thing.
And his dad's probably mad at me now for getting him to cut out. But he did bring us together, got your info, and I'm really excited now to have you on the show and kind of hear your story. So, again, welcome. I see Los Alamitos High School. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That pronunciation was pretty solid.
Yeah, it was. It was good. Yeah, it actually was.
I'm going to do my own horn since you didn't say anything.
yeah. But I was at Whittier College. That's where I went.
Okay. Is that a D? Is that 2?
3. So it's 3 technically. Yeah, 3 technically.
Awesome. Some of the most amazing talent, and especially I find wide receivers is a big plate where you go D2 and D3 schools. Tell you what, even JUCOs and stuff, man. I've interviewed some guys community colleges, so it's crazy, that have made it. I'm saying, and listen, let me get one thing straight when I segue that. When I say made it, Grant, you've made it. Okay, making it is not an NFL contract or a standout in college. Making it is someone who took the gift they were given, right? Excelled at it in some capacity, and then said, I'm going to do that, take this gift I was given and I'm going to be able to utilize it further and make a career out of it. And that's what you're doing right now. So kudos to you on that. That's kind of the resume. How did you get started then with coaching, training, programs? Let's hear it. Let's hear the story.
Yeah. I mean, so I was always kind of doing it like on the side, like even when I was in high school, like, you get like a, 7, 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid to train. And it was always just fun, it was like, it was a good way to make money. And like, obviously it's all cash under the table at that point. So like, that's never bad. But anyways, that was I was always doing it on the side. And then after my first year of college, I started coaching at the high school that I went to, so Los Alamitos, and absolutely hated it. Like, it just wasn't like for me at all. Like, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was like having to deal with like a boss, like being an assistant coach, or I love like coaching the position, coaching quarterbacks, coaching receivers, obviously. But it was just like the vibe of the whole like on a staff thing, the grind of it all. It's like that really wasn't for me.
You gotta have the right energy.
Exactly. But I still obviously I love football, right? So I was always training athletes like kind of part-time. And then when you're coaching for a school, it kind of sucks because you can't technically train anybody for the school. So it was kind of tough because a lot of the local guys in the area are all going to go to that school. So it's like I was in a situation where it's like, okay, I'm going to lose like pretty much every single athlete that I train and then be stuck in this. So I pretty much quit. Like technically I was fired, but it was, that's another story. But and then I started really just like, I was just kind of like, screw it, and just kind of went for it. And we started really uploading a lot of stuff onto social media, like just massive scale. And that's like what it was. That was like before like kind of like TikTok was around. Like I think TikTok changed.
What years are we talking? What's kind of the inception of
it? This is 2019, I want to say. And so in 2019, it was like Instagram was the big one. YouTube was obviously had been well established, but it wasn't.
You were just pre-COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Like right before. Yeah, exactly. Right before. So that year we just went super hard on social, like just really didn't, and there's obviously some pushback. It's kind of like, who is this guy? Like we mentioned, like I didn't play, big D1 ball or anything like that. So there's obviously that like initial, you're trying to break into a market, you're the new guy, and then everybody's just like, oh, this guy sucks. Like, you know what I mean? And that's like, you got to roll with the punches. Like
haters going, hey, haters.
Yeah. And I mean, you're like, if you like if you're gonna put stuff on the internet, like you can't handle that, you probably shouldn't put stuff on the internet. You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things, right? So it was so we just kind of really went hard from like 2019, Instagram, YouTube. That's just what we were uploading, and then COVID hit, obviously, and I think that's around the same time TikTok kind of came around, and then whenever that COVID point happened and everybody was at home, and then they were just looking for stuff online for training, that's when everything just kind of went out. Like if you were looking at a chart, it would just be here. So it was really interesting. It was kind of like, obviously COVID sucked and all that, and say what you want about it, but it was a blessing in disguise for sure, for at least for me, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
No, well said, man. And you know what? I love the positive stories that do come out of COVID, and you'd be shocked. I don't know if you had a chance to kind of scour through and watch some of the show or any of the interviews, before I did have you on. This is where you're supposed to say, yeah, of course I watch it, right? No,
I did see one.
Well, joking aside, you can't get anywhere now without social media, and it's just the culture we're in. So hate it or love it, it's not going away. It's it's here to stay. I have 3 young boys. They live and die on this stuff now, and if you don't progress with it, TikTok and everything, you're getting left behind, man. Right? And TikTok is the big one now. You said it very well. You said it was Instagram and Facebook, and now it's TikTok. And if you're not on it, you're kind of not relevant. I saw you have a massive following on TikTok, and and then that allows you to use other platforms as well, like YouTube and like that. You know what I mean? Because once you have that initial following. Now, when you say we, obviously you have a team. Is that fellow athletes from college, high school?
Yeah, I mean, well, at first, like that 2019, I just say we because I'm like conditioned to it now. But back then it was just me, and then obviously I have great, like my brother does all the video stuff, like he films, and he just like couldn't do it without him. And then I have like one full-time employee who kind of handles a lot, like she does a really good job, and then I have a couple part-time guys who do some certain things. But pretty small team, like maybe like 3 or 4 people, but they're all like. They're people that I know, like kind of in my circle. One of them is a coach who will travel with me, like when we do camps and other places and stuff like that. And then my brother's my business partner. We own like a supplement business as well. So like, protein powder, stuff like that. So yeah, but it's a fairly small team.
We'll have to get informed with that because we can do a lot with that as well. I'm loving your story even more, man. So basically, you can say from scratch, just absolutely organic, right? You planted the seed and watched it grow. I mean, kudos, dude. Like, I mean, even like you said, you weren't a big name going into it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the stuff I see with you is can undersized receivers specifically, but undersized players, still make it at the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming you're referring to yourself and your success, are you, how tall are you?
Like 5'9" on a good day. If a girl asks, like 5'11", but
yeah, they do have a thing with the tall, like
I don't get it. I don't understand, but it's the world we live in.
You gotta lie. You just lie, right? Then
you have to.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It must have been a typo. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
but I'm a good
yeah.
Like they're not lying. Like let's be honest, right? Is that how they look when you meet them? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, exactly. It's never the same. No, never the same.
Yeah, sometimes there's some real big discrepancies there, man, right? Like,
absolutely.
But even, being 5'9" and obviously having a very successful high school career and then saying, okay, I'm going to take this level and I want to coach kids because I want them to be taught the right way. And that is kind of what I got, even from listening to Derek. It's the right way to do things. Anybody can coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this comes up almost every episode I have now. Bad coaches versus good coaches. Coaching our youth. But you can't coach a kid like you can coach an adult.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. So, like, we started doing these camps in like 2021, I want to say, and we've been doing it for like this will be our fourth year. But essentially, we just saw a lot wrong with the camp space. Like, like everybody, like private training is one thing, where you have a guy who's local to you, and but I've been getting asked for years since I first started, like, hey, can you come out to Florida? Like, hey, can you come out to Texas or wherever? And it was always kind of like, I always thought it was kind of dumb. I'm like, how expensive that is? Like, I can't come out there and do that. But then I started thinking, like, okay, maybe we could do it. And we just saw a lot wrong with the camp space. Like you were talking about, like, good versus bad coaching. Like, you see these videos and it's like 1 million kids and it's just like these dudes just going as fast as they can. And they're making a grip of money. And it's just like, it's a total scam. Like, you know what I mean? And I get it. Like, I'm not anti, making money. It's fantastic, capitalism. But like there's a right way to do it, and the kid's not walking away with anything from that. And you feel bad mainly for the parents because some of the parents just don't know. They've never experienced this before. So they drop all this money and it's a total waste of their time. So it's like we wanted to do something where it was like, all right, we're going to go on the road. We're going to limit spots. So it's not just going to be like whoever wants to sign up could, because we could take 250 people if we wanted to. But then
I think that's very important. Limiting the spots is very important. Sorry to cut you off, but it's very important.
Yeah, and it's like we're gonna limit the spot. This is what you're gonna get. You're gonna actually be coached. It's gonna be 2 days, so it's not gonna be a 1-day thing where you just pop in, okay, yeah, cool, and then just leave like a lot of these guys do. Because a lot of guys try to do that type of thing where they just go in for 1 day, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be small. It's like it's small because they can't pull numbers anyways. But they go in and it's like just a 1 day and then they're out. And it's like, why don't we go to a place, make the investment, 2 days. Actually coach these kids and actually help them get better and feel like they're actually getting trained, not just they're coming to a camp to get a T-shirt and the guy who runs the camp just gets however much money. So that was kind of the motivation behind it, because that's what I thought wrong in the camp space, and people have responded well to it. So I know we're doing something at least right. Obviously,
you hit the nail absolutely on the head, and I think where you do run into that 1 day, and it's so funny you said the T-shirt, right? Because that's where you're going to have, and I would never call anyone out in particular, and I would like to hope that most of the athletes doing these camps, there is motivation other than money, right? I would like some of them, most of them, whatever, right? But the T-shirt. So let's say it's a very well-known receiver or someone who was in the league for a long time. That T-shirt, is kind of like, oh, I went to this camp, so they can charge more, right? They can enlist more kids into it. And like you just said, the kid's not getting anything at the end of the day, other than babysitting for the parents for a day.
For sure.
I love the 2 day because to me, it wouldn't even be worth it for 1 day. Like it's, I'm assuming it's like a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 4 or something like that. Right. And even limiting the amount of roster spots, you still have a lot of kids there, right? A lot of different personalities. It doesn't ever go like you think it's going to go, man. There's a lot of, right. I mean, I coach, obviously nothing ever goes the way you think it's going to go. You have something in your brain and all of a sudden you look at your watch, it's noon, and you had some kid doing whatever, goofing off. And is it more drill based? And obviously it's not novice kids, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like we get some beginners and we have no problem with that. Like, I think that's the luxury of maybe not having a bunch of people there, because like we could take those kids and like, hey, like we're going to coach everybody the same. Like, so like if you see a group of quarterbacks that I'll work with or receivers, like every single kid on every single rep is going to get coached. Like that's my freaking job. You know what I mean? Like a lot of guys will coach up the great kid and then just like, oh, like everybody else, like, oh, okay, good job. And it's like, that's not what we're trying to do. Like every kid is going to get coached the exact same way. So whether you're a beginner, whether you're intermediate, whether you're advanced, I would say our main is like intermediate, probably advanced. Like there's some people who, definitely some beginners, and then definitely some guys who are real advanced who like, maybe are going to play in college or whatever the case may be. Right. But yeah, that's pretty much kind of lost my train of thought there. I'm sorry. But pretty much
all the time, man. I do.
Yeah. Pretty much intermediate, I would say. Not a ton of beginners, but we have some.
Yeah. Now, what would you style your game after when you played receiver? I've watched a little bit of your highlights and a little bit of what you did, and you have kind of an Adam Thielen kind of vibe to you, right?
You say that's pretty accurate. Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate.
Because with Thielen, there's two things. It's a little bit different than a Welker or an Edelman, who I feel like those guys were just slant receivers and never really went long. You had some burners though, dude. So I saw that you could go, and that's what Thielen. You know what I mean? A little bit more of a burner guy, as not so much 7-yard slants make it real easy for Brady, right? We'll just call it. Let's call it for what it is, man. He won him a lot of championships, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But did you have someone that you modeled your game off when you played?
Not a ton. I mean, when I was a quarterback, I think I would be like Michael Vick. I like the way he played the game. I like the way he ran. That's why I wore 7. And then when I played receiver, not so much, because I switched to receiver later on in my career, so it wasn't like I played that throughout. Okay. So there was like.
Okay, so you started as a QB.
Yes, correct.
Okay, and you played QB up until when?
College. So I got recruited to play, and then I switched while I was in college.
Got you. I'm sorry. All right. You know what?
That's all good.
And trust me, man, I have way, way, way too many friends of all different colors and denominations else, but do you think that sometimes there is, and I'll segue it then. Do you think that sometimes there's a little bit of a barrier or obstacle playing a certain position based on color?
I mean, I I don't think so. I mean, I've heard. I hear it all the time. Like people will always like. I always get it in the comment sections, like oh, I'm not going to listen to a white guy telling me how to play receiver, and it's like, yeah, I get that all the time. But I mean, I could care less. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh my god, I can't believe you said that. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. What it is. I don't think it's a barrier, to be honest with you. I think football's one of those things where it's like, if you're good enough, you're good enough. If you're not, you're not. I just really think they want the best. They want the best guys on the field. But I have heard that more than you'd probably think. But I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Totally agree with your sentiment with that. 100. What was better with you, your hands or your speed? What do you think was your better?
Probably speed. I'd probably say speed. I'd probably say speed.
Man, I saw a couple of them, and you were ripping. And
I'm 24, so still young.
yeah, you're very young. All right, so yeah, you're definitely still a burner then. It's
yeah.
When you say, oh, you were back in school or whatever, yeah, you're not too far removed, brother.
Yeah.
So how do people hear about the camps, website and social media and TikTok? I assume everything, right? And what is the schedule going into 2025? Are you revamping? Are you going in saying this is going to be our year? Like any new and exciting stuff going on?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to 15 states, and then all of our states, what we're adding this year is we're adding like all positions. So we're kind of trying to take, because what we've done is just quarterback, wide receiver in the past, and we'll get 80, 90 kids out to it. Obviously, I have a staff of guys, it's not just me. But this year we're doing O-line, D-line, running back, linebacker, DB also. So we're trying to kind of bring our strategy into other positions because I think there's a real need for it. The big football camp is called FBU. That's the real big one. And I think it's total waste. So we're kind of trying to go after those guys and try to be biggest camp, not only for quarterbacks, wide receivers, which we are, but for really everybody, because we just want quality training. We want these camps to be quality for people. So that's what we're doing. And then we start up mid-December and then every other weekend until July. So it should be fun.
You're trying to stay in warmer weather areas, I would assume, for the winter months, right?
Yeah. We have taken a couple of chances.
Buffalo in January?
No. We did Buffalo last year in April, and that was rough. It was warm all week apparently, and then when we got there, it was freezing cold. It wasn't that bad, but it was not the best conditions. But it was.
You pretty much just summed up Buffalo in the last comment you said. I mean, it can go from, I'll tell you, it's October 31st. It's Halloween, right? The kids are going to get early and we're gonna head out and do our thing, and it's 70 degrees. It's absolutely wild, man. And then next week it could very well snow here. So
yeah,
what did you think of Buffalo? What did you think of it?
I liked it.
A lot of time to spend.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of did. It was interesting. Everywhere was crowded. I don't know if that was because of the weekend, because I think Luke Combs was playing that weekend, so it was just
when you were here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was everywhere was packed. That was probably the worst part, but for the most part, everybody's pretty nice.
It's more of a blue collar friendly town in Buffalo, and we're very well. Yeah. Where did you go eat? Did you go and try wings or do anything fun while you were here?
No, we went to a steakhouse. It was a chain too. It was we went to Longhorn, or maybe it was.
Where was the camp?
It was at I'm actually not too sure, but it was the park was called Mulroy Park. It had the turf field was really nice, outskirts area. I don't know if it was the greatest area, but the turf field was nice. But it's called Mulroy Park.
How do you come up with the venues?
I mean, honestly, the Buffalo one was challenging. There was not much. I reached out to the Bills, tried to get the indoor spot. Nobody really wanted to help, and local high schools didn't really want to help. So some states or cities are a little tricky like that. But there's a website that we use called Facilitron, which is literally it's Amazon, but for facilities. So you just book a time. It's scheduling a haircut, and then you're good. And then now, since we've been doing it for a while, we kind of have connections in most places because there aren't a lot of places we haven't been to. So we'll just reach out to them, and it's pretty simple. But yeah, but it's a lot. Yeah,
more than happy to help you in Buffalo.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
We'll hook up and link up on that. This was a lot of fun. It was good getting to know you, just kind of hearing a little bit about what you do. And you definitely have a cool energy about you, man. Obviously being about the kids and making sure people get trained the right way. Those are some keynotes and things that I picked up on with you. And I think you can sense with certain people, whether it's a money grab, right? You can use the talent that you have and it's a money grab, or somebody who goes in and truly wants to see results. So kudos on everything you're doing, man. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for taking some time with us. And anything else you want to mention regarding the programs or your site or anything like that?
No, I'm good. I mean, you guys can find the websites firstdowntraining.com. So FIRSTDOWN training.com. And then that's where all the information is. But I appreciate it. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I'm certainly gonna, I'll edit this baby up and get that blasted all over the place. I'll get it to you so you can get it out to your mass following. So you and Snoop Dogg going out later for drinks, or what's going on?
No. I wish he's too big for me, so I can't. Not yet. One day.
Long Beach, man. I gotta get to Long Beach. I've been to California a few times, and San Diego and LA, but never Long Beach. So
Yeah.
but definitely, man, we'll keep in touch. Hope you keep Buffalo in your plans as well. And like I said, this was a lot of fun, man. So thanks for coming on.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Got it, brother. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah. You too.
Take care.